This is an answer to a question from Brad Crypto Gold on YouTube. Brad at Crypto Gold, or whatever your name is, sir, or madam, however you identify yourself these days, please don't be offended. I have an extremely small HR department, and I just don't have the time to, I only need one bathroom, not 12, so simmer. Typically speaking, we answer questions like this on Patreon. Shameless plug. I'll put a doobly-doo right up here. Patreon. This is what we do there, and it costs you $1 a month, and we use that dollar to bless people with, as well as support some of our own household costs. And that's just a fact. But I believe we provide disproportionate value on Patreon. And if you're interested, I would encourage you to come see us. I will put a thingy up here. There's always a link down in the description, and there's usually one on the end of the video as well. It's a little baby bear climbing up a tree. You can click on that. So, there. Now you sat through the sales pitch. Here's the real good content. You ready? The question was 5.56, 7.62 by 39, or 7.62 by 51 for SHTF. Which one? I'm going to hit all the high points just as quickly as I can. I will tell you first and foremost, this, as well as the vast majority of our rifles, is a 5.56. 69 grain Viper. Stupid accurate out of this gun. This gun is a Spec Ops manufacturing. They don't pay me any money. I just like them a lot. It's run by veterans. I don't think it's out of business though. I'm not sure. Couldn't get on their website the last time I went to go buy an upper from them, which kind of sucks because I was going to buy another upper from them. Couldn't get it. Spec Ops manufacturing. Sweet upper. Sweet upper. Anyway, this is a 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO chambering. The reason for that is A, it is size and weight efficient. It is not, listen, it is not a hard-hitting round. Anybody who's been in combat in the Army in the last 20 years can tell you that. It is not a hard-hitting round, especially out of a 14.5-inch barrel M4. Yeah. 20-inch barrel, the Marines are having slightly better ballistics, but it's still not great, which is why they transitioned from 55 grain all the way up to 72, 77 grain rounds. 75 grain. It's a good round. And I like the 69 grain round. It's a good round. Pokes a real nice hole through a soft target. Size and weight efficient. A loaded magazine, 30 round magazine, weighs 1 pound as compared to 1.5 pounds for an AK, 1.4 pounds, question mark, for a 20 round 308. So somebody will get me in the comments on the exact weight on a 20 round 308 magazine, you know, like SR25 pattern Magpul mag or something. But, you know, 50% more for 50% less ammunition on the 308. Now we'll get to 308. Right now we're talking about 5.56. So it's size and weight efficient. It does a good job with proper shot placement on soft targets. It's a military round. It's a NATO round. So the ability to scavenge it, not that I suggest that you build any of your systems around scavenging, because that's basically having a death wish. But the ability to scavenge it is high. Also to buy, sell, barter, trade prior to and after the balloon goes up. Your accessibility on this ammunition is very high. And even now, post-Obama, it's very reasonably priced. 30 cents a round for very good ammunition. 50 cents a round for great ammunition. $1 a round for phenomenal ammunition. That's just not that bad. You know, and you can go to Midway right now and get 420 grains of 62 grain green tips LAP, light armor piercing rounds, for I think it's $139. That's what I practice with. It's great. It's range day, grab an ammo can, go blow through 420 rounds. It's a blast. You know, never forget about your old faithful on your side. So I like 5.56. Now, I don't dislike 7.62 by 39 as a round. What I dislike about it is that it is not a common military caliber, especially in North America these days. And there are fewer people, regardless of what the internet says, there are fewer people running 7.62 by 39 in the North American continent than you would believe. The problem with that is that I believe in caliber conformity for your team. Everybody should be running the same caliber of long arm, you know, other than your Overwatch, your LPOP. So the importance there is that, let's walk. The importance there is that, yeah, I had you in a tree. How do you like that? The commonality of caliber is if you run dry, I can throw you a magazine. Now this gets complicated when you're running a 7.62 39 and I'm running a 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO. So if you run dry, I throw you a magazine, it's the wrong magazine. Or I run dry, you throw me a magazine, it's the wrong magazine. That's a problem. So to combat that, if you have guys on your team that run AKs, okay, you make your AK fire team, you make your AR fire team. Cool. And then everybody in the AK fire team has one spare M4 pattern magazine, you know, for an AR-15. And everybody on the AR-15 fire team has one spare AK-47 platform magazine for their buddies on that fire team over there. It's not an ideal situation, it's not elegant, but it does get the job done. Now, if everybody on your team runs 7.62 39, not a problem. You can get me there. You can make that argument, and I can be okay with it. By and large, and we're not going to talk too much about the weapons platforms because there's a huge argument, there's a huge genital measuring contest between the AR-15 and the AK-47. Reliability, accuracy, ergonomics, lightweight, dependability, track record, you know, it's dumb. They've both been around a long time. They will both kill you with proper shot placement. They both suck to get shot with. Roger, everybody got that? Cool. Put your PPs away. We don't need to keep measuring, okay? So, all that being said, generally speaking, you will be taking a heavier gun with heavier ammunition for the same capability. Now with me and my eyes and my training and my body type and my life experience, can shoot an AR-15 more accurately to a greater distance than I can an AK-47. I can still connect with an AK-47 on a man-sized target at distances that matter. I find, generally speaking, so everybody simmer down, that the AR-15 platform is generally more accurate than the shooter. And I find that, generally speaking, the shooter is more accurate than the AK-47 platform. Are your jimmies rustled? Because you need to simmer. Okay. Now, that's all the platform talk we're going to have. AK is generally a heavier gun with heavier ammunition, and the 5.56 AR M4 platform is a lighter gun with lighter ammunition. They both suck to get shot with. You can survive both rounds if the shot placement sucks. Okay? They both do weird things when they hit soft targets. Copy? All right. So if you're going to throw out your second cool card at me, I just love this thing. Oh, your AK, go for it. But I would make sure that every one of your buddies on your team, in your tribe, in your group, on your crew, if you're running an AK, that every one of them knows it. And if I were you, I would supply every one of them with one spare magazine full of your ammunition of choice and a mag pouch to hang on their kit for you. Conversely, if you're the AR guy on the team and everybody else on the team runs AKs, you need to do the same. Okay? You need to give everybody on your team one 30-round Gen 3 PMag filled with 62 grain LAP rounds or whatever. Whatever your ammunition of choice is and your magazine of choice. Maybe you like hex mags or Lancer mags and I only run 72 grain. Whatever, dude. Whatever it is, give it to your buddies. Hang it on your belt. That one's for me if I need it. Okay? So there are consequences to being the odd man out when it comes to equipment. And I spent a lot of time right there discussing those consequences, all to say that I would much prefer if everybody on the team ran the same equipment. Because, you know, again, what happens if your gun goes down because of a malfunction? You have a hard stoppage, something breaks. Okay, well, if I have a spare parts kit, I can help you out. But not if you're the only guy running a Res 47 and the rest of us are running, you know, AR-15s. I just can't. It just doesn't work that way. So you go with whatever floats your boat, brother or sister, or gender neutral, semi-fluid, cisgender, amorphous blob of humanity, whatever you are. Float your own boat. 308 as a battle rifle is purely idealistic, says me. I was just talking with a guy that you would all know and all mostly love yesterday. I'll just say that he's a former Army Special Forces operator with a white beard, and he lives on the side of a mountain, and he likes Vikings. And we were hanging out yesterday talking, and he was telling me a story that I've heard repeated over and over again of the guy who shows up for muster, and he's got the 11-pound, 12-pound battle rifle chambered in 308. And well, I turned cover into concealment. And I'm not gonna tell Pastor Joe's story. It's his to tell, but it goes something like this, because I've heard it before. Is guy shows up, he has a big 308 rifle. And generally speaking, it weighs too much already because people like to hang a lot of unnecessary stuff off of their guns. And now we march. And he gets to sight and he sets his gun down and he leaves it there because it's heavy. And his magazines are heavier. And the spare ammunition he has in his ruck to refresh his magazines with is heavier. And everything is just heavier. And patrolling with a 308 battle rifle is purely idealistic. People spend a lot of money on some truthfully very sweet guns. And when I say 308, I'm also talking 7.62 by 51 millimeter. Understand that the 308 Winchester is the opposite of the 223. 223 can operate in a 5.56 chamber, no problem, but 5.56 has a higher loading pressure. You should not shoot it through older 223 chambers as they are weaker. The newer chambers, it's not advisable, but you're probably okay. Whereas 308 Winchester has a higher loaded pressure than 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO. So if you have a firearm chambered in 308 Winchester, you can run 7.62 51 in it, but you should not shoot 308 Winchester out of a 7.62 by 51 millimeter. Whew. Consult your doctor before training, and have you had a proctology exam lately? And I'm not a lawyer, I just play one on TV, and all of the other caveats. Okay. 308 battle rifle. It's purely idealistic. They're cool, don't get me wrong. M1A, awesome. M14, super cool. AR-10, cool. If you can build an 8-pound AR-10, go for it. You're still taking 2/3 of the rounds for 50% more weight. Okay, so it's going to be a rounds limited platform, which brings us from a discussion about, is it a patrol rifle or are you in an overwatch position? Now this entire question is for SHTF, which brings us into philosophy of use, because if you're bugging out, a 308 is not your answer. If you're bugging out, a 7.62 by 39 out of an AK platform is not your answer. Maybe on an SKS, but not if you're hanging 8-10 pounds of cool stuff that you bought out of the Tapco catalog off of your SKS. That's not going to work either. And your rounds limited on the SKS. Okay? Okay. So that brings us to 5.56 for bug out, because it's size and weight efficient and you can build a sweet, accurate rifle. This one weighs 8.5 pounds, and if I wanted it to, I could probably get it down to 7.75 pounds. But I like it the way it is. So that's 5.56 for bug out. But what if you're bugging in, or what if you're already on a piece of land on your homestead on whatever, and you're more of a fixed position? In that case, 308 can make sense. But understand again what you're dealing with. The whole I turn cover into concealment thing is a bunch of BS. That's ego talking, and ego, overconfidence, is most often found amongst units that have never been tested in combat. That's a direct quote from Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babbitt, which is a great book. If you haven't read it, you should, but it's completely accurate. Okay, it's ego talking. I like the 308 Winchester 7.62x51 in an AR-10 accurized platform for Overwatch, sitting next to a 300 Win Mag or 308 bolt gun or 338 Lapua or 416 Barrett or a light 50. That's where I really like 308. Because if you need to reach out and touch somebody at 600 yards, you can. But walking around out here, what do I need 308 for? I mean, this looks long on camera, but right there where that tall grass is, right there, that's like 45 yards. See this dumb chicken? I'm telling you, they hear my voice and they come running. That's why I do a lot of videos where I'm walking, because they flock to me. I'm the chicken whisperer. We're going along. So 308 for SHTF would be in a fixed position, LPOP only, says me, or as a brush gun to put meat on the table. I'm totally cool with that too, and you can get me there, but not if you're gonna be patrolling. This is not your battle rifle. That is idealism talking. Now, for every time I say that, somebody chimes into the comments, T, you don't understand. I have an 8-pound rifle that I can shoot accurately with iron sights out to 12,000 yards. And every time I do, I kill an 800-pound grizzly bear with it. Cool story, bro. I've never seen it. So 308, fixed position, LPOP, Overwatch, or putting meat on the table. That brings us back to 5.56 versus 7.62. Personal preference. For me, if I'm going to carry more weight voluntarily, I would like that weight to be food or water or more ammunition, not to carry the same capabilities and the same amount of ammunition for more weight. So that moves the AK for me. If you're going to have an AK, use it for roving patrols around your retreat property, where you're close to home. You're not holding the gun for a long period of time. It's slung, right? You got it on your sling. You're just walking around, seeing and being seen, right? You can get me there on that. Security force with an AK, I'm cool with that. You know, a lot of guys have this mental image of special forces operators in the Middle East with their shemags on and their AKs. That's done more to assimilate than it is because of the combat prowess of the AK-47. So understand that as well. There's something to fitting in with the locals. More than this is just such a badass rifle. I'm definitely trading in my government issue M4 for this AK. But if everybody wants to look like CAG or First Special Operations Group, go for it. That's cool, but you have to carry that rifle. I don't. So for me, I prefer the 5.56 by 45 millimeter NATO round. It is definitely a compromise, but life is a compromise. And so if I have to engage targets, I can do it accurately with more rounds for the same weight at greater distances with this rifle than I can with an AK-47. And the 308, I'll leave that to November deer season. So with all of that being said, I hope this answered your question of my opinion, 7.62 by 51 millimeter versus 7.62 by 39 millimeter versus 5.56 by 45 millimeter for SHTF TEOTWAWKI, the end of the world as we know it. Shalom.